the phone is going to start ringing again. But in order to tackle that, like you're going to get a break and then you've got to go hard. Mm-hmm. Like those first few weeks of January, I think are really important to be highly active.
Oh yeah.
but you check every day, you'd be like refreshing. Is anyone contacting us? And then like January 2nd, it's like 7. Oh, interesting. How could that happen?
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle.
Yeah,
must be a marketing genius.
Welcome to Price, Sell, Paint, the go-to podcast for painting contractors and sales professionals in the painting industry. Hosted by industry experts Jon Bryant and Michael Murray. This podcast is proudly powered by PaintScout, your partner in painting success.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Price, Sell, Paint. I am Jon Bryant. I'm with Michael Murray as usual. For those who are regular listeners, we are going to get some guests on soon. We're very excited to talk to some guests. If you would like to be a guest on the podcast, we would love to have you. So feel free to reach out to Michael, who's feeling a little lonely on LinkedIn. He'd love some LinkedIn love, and we can get that set up. So I know today, Michael, we want to talk a little bit about what's coming up here. We're recording at the end of November here, and this will come out, I imagine, early, mid-ish December. That's our hope. Here in North America, and likely where you live too, there's a bit of a holiday season coming at us. And specifically in the United States, there's this time of the year between Thanksgiving and end of, I don't know, would it be New Year's?
Yeah.
Like that it's just a little bit slower. You really can't get past that as a seasonal business. And so today what we want to talk about is this time that we have to really, are you relaxing? Are you ramping it up with phone calls? Like, what are you doing to finish the year right and start next year well? Michael, I know you've got a couple ideas. What's been your experience with this time of year? You've gone through it before. Often, what does it feel like? It feels like no one's ever going to call you again, right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So first of all, good to be back. The day after Thanksgiving when we are recording this. So hope everybody, when you listen to this, hope everybody had an awesome Thanksgiving, getting ready for Christmas and for New Year's and Hanukkah and all the holidays that are upon us in December. Yeah, December is really tough. I think it is. I actually had a call last week with a painting company owner that I'm friends with, and he just reached out for some advice and marketing, and leads aren't happening, and what do we do to keep everybody busy? And I said, to be honest with you, like that should have already happened. There's really not like a ton that you can do for the next like 3 or 4 weeks when it comes to just like where do we dump marketing money? Because that was kind of his question. Like we've got this extra money, we're looking at the end of the year here. What could I put it into? It's like you could put into stuff for January and February, but really, I was telling him, go ahead.
You played the role of Scrooge in the conversation.
Scrooge, yeah.
Yeah, great.
The
Very
wise
festive.
old sage is, I think, more what I was going for.
Right, yeah.
People call me because they're just like, hey, I know that you experienced a lot of pain and suffering. So what is,
let's commiserate.
Help me, exactly. Help me feel better.
Is there any hope, Michael? No, not a single ounce of it.
No, it's going to be January again. And then there will be an opportunity to do more like of your traditional marketing and selling type efforts. But I think for sales reps this time of year, it's really just about, I think one of the big things, there's a handful of things I think that are important to do, but one of them is just leaning into relationships and not necessarily like asking for a withdrawal from that relationship in the form of like a sale. While that can happen, right? There's probably still some sales to be made, but I think a lot of it is just like making deposits into those relationships, take advantage of some of the extra time that you might have in your calendar, take somebody out to lunch that, had a meaningful impact on your success this year. Just check in, see how they're doing, ask them about their holiday plans, ask them about their goals for next year, go into that relationship asking somebody like, hey, what are your goals for next year? How can I help? Who's somebody I could connect you with that could help you to reach your goals that you've set for yourself next year? If I got a call from somebody with that like intention, I'd feel pretty good about it, as opposed to getting calls this time of year that are like, hey, can I set up a demo so I could try to sell you something? Like, no, thanks. It's pretty busy. I don't know. What comes to mind? Does that resonate with you? Is that a good use of our time?
Yeah, I think it's a great use of our time. I mean, I always think that stuff is a good use of your time. Like those unexpected intentional touches, I think I've heard them called before, and reaching out for no other reason than just to to connect. I like using the different times of the year as a theme sometimes. I think this time of year, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, all of these holidays are really just about being with people that you have relationships with and being thankful. And so just to refocus on that, I think there's just so many reasons to reach out with that theme and do it in an unexpected way. And if it's St. Patrick's Day, you can see how lucky people are feeling, that kind of a vibe.
Cheesiness.
Yeah. There's cheesy. I guess sometimes it's all about tone, Michael. It's all about tone. I totally agree with you. And I think one area that we've seen some success in, at least in our marketing and sales efforts over the years, has been to try to stay away from some of these hardcore marketing events that happen. So to your point, like reaching out, saying thank you is really different than sending a mass email on Black Friday when everybody else just got 17 other mass emails. 17 might be low, actually, 700. And trying to, separate yourself a little bit from that discussion, whether it's earlier or later. One area we've really enjoyed is not sending Christmas or, holiday gifts, so to speak, but doing that in the new year, like separating that event so it's a little more memorable, because a lot of contacts are getting stuff this time of year. And so this, to your point, it's about just like bringing a little bit of, hey, I'm thinking of you, a little personalization, and being available to build relationships. I really get a lot of value out of that.
Yeah, I think it's that long-term mindset, not the short-term mindset. And I love what you talked about too, where it's just like, I don't think you need to think of this in terms of like a scalable effort. It's not trying to reach 1,000 people. It's trying to reach 10. What if you just had like a deeper, more meaningful relationship with 10 people in your network, in your circle, that you want to just be a better friend with, and you want to do more work with and pass some business with next year? I think it's like having that type of a mindset will, I think, be really beneficial. Again, as opposed to doing the emails and all the things. I think we're just all sick of it. Like, I think, I was joking with somebody yesterday on Thanksgiving, where it's like Black Friday is literally the entire month of November now.
Yeah.
It's like we've just been inundated with marketing and sales and messaging. Everybody just kind of wants a break.
Yeah. I saw a really funny meme the other day, which was that like there was a price of a smoker, I think, and it was like $799. And then on the other side was like the Braveheart guy. Like, what's his name? Guy from Braveheart.
Oh,
sorry, man. Put it on the spot. Anyways, it's like hold. And it's like, the week before the sale, it's like $799. The guy's like, hold. Then it comes to Black Friday and the price of the smoker jumps up to like $1,499, cut down to $799. He's like, buy.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And that's kind of the way I feel about it. I feel like it's all become a trick. It's just like a month-long tricking us into buying stuff.
Yep. Yeah. I got this one of our software. They're stupid. Not PaintScout, our voice over IP software. They got they're like, oh, you can save some money. This is like in the early part of November. You can save some money if you commit to an annual plan with this new AI upgrade thing that we were doing. And I was like, okay, fine, we'll commit to the annual plan on this like AI stuff. And then like 2 weeks later, it's like, oh, Black Friday special, 30% off our annual plans. And I was like, you jerks. Different words. And then I go and I look at it and I'm like, the 30% off price isn't anything off. They just raised the stupid price by 30% and it's the same price. And I'm just like, wow.
It's amazing, man. I'm curious to know, I mean, this is a total aside, but like when does the novelty wear off here? Like, when do people figure it out and they're like, boring? Like, why would I even be motivated? So anyways, that's all an aside to say that, people are inundated with marketing. You've got this time of year where like, we should have done some stuff before. I think that we have another podcast that is helpful to people if they want to listen to it about what to do when things are slow. Because I do think there's like 8 or 9 things you can do. Because I think doing something is better than nothing when you feel panic. So take a look at that one. But the other thing that I think is really, really important is to start planning. This is a time of year when we can reflect. Probably the hope is that we can take a bit of time off. I know for a lot of people that's hard to do, small business or, in the sales world, but we have this period of time where most people, are trying to also take some time off. Yeah, reflecting on what went well over the year, I think is important. Looking at, if you set goals for 2025, how did that actually pan out? And then, one thing you reminded me of is just before the call is what are we doing next year? And it's the planning for how to make some tweaks, get excited again. This is a long game. What are we doing? What do you guys do, Michael, I imagine you're doing tons of planning, right?
We are. Yeah, we actually have a lot of annual planning stuff going on. So next week, which will be the first week of December, is when we have our big annual planning meetings. It's basically 2 full days of meetings, excuse me, with our leadership team, and really just finalizing numbers, figuring out exactly, we use EOS. So what are the big rocks going into the new year and things like that. At this point, I would say we have a pretty good idea of what the budgeted revenue is, the budgeted P&L, balance sheet. A lot of those documents are done. For the most part, our sales reps should have already had their conversations as to their sales cookbooks and what are their individual goals and plans for next year. But some of that might still be in the works and getting tweaked up a little bit. And yeah, our hope is that by the middle of December, that's all done. Over the years, we've done really well with that. At times, we've done really bad where it's bled into January and we get the year off to a poor start. And so trying to be more intentional this year. It actually started in October. Yeah, we're in the middle of moving our office and shop. I know you have experienced some moves and stuff. I think PaintScout moved to a new location this year or last year, whatever that was. And anyway, so it's just a lot of work. It's bad time. There's no good time of year. So pretty much all of November we've been moving. So I feel in some ways behind where I wanted to be in annual planning, but probably ahead of where we've been in some of the past years. But yeah.
Yeah, it always kind of falls to that early December. It's what are we going to do next year? Oh wait, it's in 2 weeks. We should. How did this happen?
What's the goal for January?
Is this a different calendar? I haven't seen this one before. I swear we skipped some months.
What happens after December?
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I think that's key though, is for an individual sales rep, while December might not be a big productivity month, for most businesses, January needs to have a decent goal. You should start to see the numbers ticking up in January. And so I think it's important that we get stuff done in December so that we're really ready to hit the ground running and get back into those higher volume estimates and different things like that.
Yeah. And to that point, the phone is going to start ringing again. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. I in a conversation I had on the podcast with Sue Wadden from Sherwin-Williams in the color department, she made an interesting observation that a lot of demand follows, how the home is operating, right? Kids are back in school. Now there's some room to actually do some work inside. The holidays are coming up. We got to get all set up. We don't want anyone in the home. January is this time of renewal, refresh. We've got 3 weeks here to try to accomplish a new goal. At least I need a gym membership for about 21 days. That's about it. So yeah. So I think it's going to come back, and I think being prepared for that and knowing that there's hope around the corner is good. But in order to tackle that, you're going to get a break, and then you've got to go hard. Mm-hmm. Those first few weeks of January, I think, are really important to be highly active. Really, again, you're setting the tone, not the tone, but you're kind of planting seeds in December to then hit it in January. Mm-hmm. Hey, how are you doing? Just thinking of you. Happy holidays too. New Year's starting off great. Excited to work with you. Anything in the pipeline. Those are nice ways to do it. It's kind of you've thought a couple steps ahead. Mm-hmm. So it helps you instead of you're just constantly what do you have? What do you have? What do you have? Mm-hmm. And then for your customers, just knowing that they're in a time of it's new. Let's get things refreshed, getting your marketing lined up, getting your sales calls lined up, making sure all of that is ready. Because I don't know about you, but when we watched actual calls, call volume or contact volume, it's this chart of November, December, January.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
if we got 2 calls, like some years, if we got 2 calls in between Christmas and New Year's, we were like, yes, we got 2 calls. Obviously, we were just like scared.
I remember those days. Oh yeah.
But you check every day. You'd be like refreshing. Is anyone contacting us? And then like January 2nd, it's like 7. Oh, interesting. How could that happen?
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle.
Yeah,
It must be a marketing genius. I finally figured it out.
Yeah. I think another relationship that comes to mind just as we're talking about this is like internal, right? A lot of our, listeners are on the sales side, but I think it's a really good time of the year for the sales team who's probably out of office a lot. They're not maybe talking to the crew leaders and the crew members, painters, or the subs, or whatever the business model is. They're not talking to maybe some of the office staff as much just because they're so busy, right? As they should be. And so this can be like a really good time of year to like rekindle, like re-pour into some of those relationships. It's a great time of year for the sales team to stop at, maybe a job site, say hi to some of the crew members working there. Always obviously appreciated when you bring the crew snacks and treats and whatever that might look like. So I think like this can just be a good time of year to, again, just say thank you and build relationships. And I think we also should just remind people that those internal relationships can be really vital too.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. Like it's something just to remind yourself of, because I think life is busy. Life, there's a lot going on, but yeah, it's those little things that really matter. Just slowing down for a minute, talking to people. You've got a little extra time, and so set that up well for next year. Yeah, I love that idea.
There's so many things that we probably all like have good intentions to do. I'll get too busy, and so maybe this is the time of year to not be too busy.
What do you do for planning, like for the team? I know we've done other podcasts just specifically about planning, but at a high level, like this year, all of your experience combined into this planning time, what are you guys doing? Anything different? Anything unique on the sales side?
I mean, on the sales side, to be honest with you, no, not particularly. I think other than like having those conversations earlier so that, we're not relying on like having to try to get stuff done around like the second half of December. I think that's the big thing. I think it's, it's all the things we talked so much about, right? It's starting with just that like open-ended conversation with the sales rep, like, hey, how'd this year go? How did let's talk about your earnings, let's talk about your workload, and how does that compare to what you're thinking about for next year? I want to earn about the same. I want to earn significantly more, maybe a little bit more. I'd like to work more, less, whatever. Obviously, it's always, I want to make more and work less. But, it's just trying to like figure out, okay, cool. Like, so we talk more about that and why, and then getting to the like, cool, let's come up with a plan to make that happen. And a lot of that can just be on like, what are some efficiencies that we can find in a sales rep's day? Maybe it's using technology, which I think is a great time of year to be talking about that. But yeah, I think the big thing for our planning with sales reps is trying to like understand the story behind the numbers before we even get into the numbers, and then just trying to create a plan on the spreadsheet that's going to be as broken down as we possibly can. What's the goals by month, by week? How many estimates do we need to do? Really focusing in on the activities that are going to lead to the bigger numbers in terms of the total sales, total commissions, stuff like that.
Yeah. So my question is, when you go into January, you've got all this planning, what are some of the things you have learned are really important for the sales team to plan for early January? Or do you look at it like as a whole year? Do you talk about early January? What is that even a part of it?
Yeah. What exactly, like what activities should we be focused on in early January? Is that kind of what I hear you saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Again, I think part of it is just being ready to take on like a normal workload of estimates. I think if we're not careful, we can get used to that slowness of December. And so we're not ready to like kind of crank that gear. Yeah, I think a lot of it like typically comes back to like using software more like fully better to help do the job, using the CRM, staying organized. It's a lot of the stuff that I think we all know we should be doing. And when we're really busy, we're just not doing, and trying to come up with like what are the better like habits and things so that when we are busy, this is going to run better. And every rep can like have their own little spin on things. I think this can be a great, like December can be a great time of year to try to play with some AI tools and different things like that could help them to do their job better starting in January when the workload increases and there's more stuff to do. Yeah, I don't know. What about you? What are things that come to mind, as they hit the ground running in January?
I was just trying to think about that, like what I would do. And I'm not, obviously, it's not just about me, but I think the one thing that I learned is that it was a good time for me to learn and like recenter some stuff. One of the books that really changed my life in terms of the way I think about sales and the way I interpret what selling is You Can't Teach a Kid to Ride a Bike at a Seminar, which is a Sandler book. And I like to read a lot over the holidays. I've got extra time. Generally, the hope is that I'm also getting to relax a little bit. So you're kind of sitting around. I guess the vibe is a little different around the house, and you kind of get a chance to just chill. And so in years past, I've reread that book and kind of got myself re-engaged with the material and thinking about the process and how I want to be able to approach things, because I think I lose a lot of that throughout the year. Like you're just kind of go. Yeah. You kind of forget some of those basics. So that has been helpful. I mean, for me, reading business books has been helpful. I pretty much I only read nonfiction, so like I'm reading a lot of books like that around this time when I have a little extra bandwidth. So there's that. And then, planning to just be active. January is a good month. You're going to get your sales back, be proactively doing some things. I mean, like I said before, planning to take some stuff out, doing some really some marketing, and in addition to that, kind of light sales work where you're following up with people. I think that's kind of the first 2-3 weeks that's when it's critical.
Yeah, I think January, or I guess December, early January is a really good time to be doing some training. It kind of goes along with like the reading books and maybe listening to Price Sell Paint podcast episodes.
100%.
Shameless plug. You can find us on YouTube and wherever all of your
wherever you already found us.
But in all seriousness, I do think that like this is a time of year where we will do extra sales training. It's a lot easier to pull sales team in, and so instead of like a weekly sales training like we always do, it can definitely become like 2 or even 3 times a week. Maybe we're working on like some really specific things, maybe some new parts of the sales process or system that we really want to be focused in on. This is a good time of year to implement more of those types of things, and even just to go back to some of the basics and how do we handle objections and how do we, just build good connections with a homeowner when we walk in, and different things like that we all know are so critical.
Yeah, I mean, back to the planning piece, like that podcast that we have about planning, I would go through that one, if anything. There's some really good stuff about like just vision boarding, getting those numbers detailed, making sure that the year makes sense, making sure your last year made sense, and like ultimately figuring out why you're doing what you're doing, which is all very valuable. We've kind of glossed over that a little bit because it's a lot of detail for today, but that's a good podcast to listen to. And then, I think taking that time, like being okay with taking a bit of time. I know myself, any other salesperson I've ever dealt with or have had the chance to encounter feels uncomfortable taking time. Like they know there's another deal to be made. It's a bit addictive. And I would just encourage you to just close your phone for a day. Try it out. Because like going back to the previous point, there's not a lot happening. People are okay to leave a message. They're going to understand. And sometimes turning your phone off, closing your computer for a day, it's the best thing you can do for your soul. So I would say that's a good starting place. And then, adding these couple layers on top, if you find the time and you can do it, that's awesome.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think, sales, like top performing sales reps and business owners that are doing sales and different things like that, we are like goal oriented. We're competitive, especially internally. And so the idea of like downshifting at any point can seem counterproductive, but we also know that like that will yield burnout. And so it's like we need to be focused in on ourselves and our health and all the different things that we know we're supposed to be doing. And this is a good time of year to, kind of refocus, recenter, so that you have that energy. That I think that like January and February is when sales reps make their money. I would also throw November in there, but we're past that for this conversation. It's just like the best sales reps are the ones who really perform November, January, February, when it's hardest to keep crew members busy. Mediocre sales reps can look like superstars in May or in September, when we get those like early spring and early fall peaks of demand. But when demand is like, low to medium, top performing sales reps really stand out. They've already built the relationships. They know how to close. So even with fewer opportunities, they're going to sell a lot of work, things like that. And so it's okay to accept that like December is just going to be a little bit slower and really go after it hard in January and February.
Yeah. So what's the synopsis here, Michael? Is that the correct word? Synopsis? Like
we'll pretend it is. If it isn't, I don't know.
Summary. If what is the
Just
summary here? Yeah, I mean,
you say it with confidence, it's accurate. Everybody knows
true.
that.
If you, at the end of the day here, if like, I think our belief is, take some time, be okay with that time, get your planning done, start planting the seeds, thanking people, and get yourself in a position to start getting active in January.
Yep.
Anything I missed there?
No, I think you hit it pretty well. Yeah. Yep.
Awesome.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nailed it. Always happy.
Good stuff.
Always happy when I get it right. Michael, always great to chat.
You know what's a really good activity you can do this time of year?
What's that?
Give your favorite painting industry podcast 5-star review. I think that would be a good
Oh, dude. Do you also subscribe too? Is that a nice gift you can do?
I think so. That's what the cool kids do. So if you want to be a cool kid, you could subscribe. And I heard that John's sending out Christmas presents too.
The gift will be Michael's LinkedIn account for to send him a thank you gift. Because
I'll check it. I will. That'll be my New Year's resolution. I'm going to log into LinkedIn.
There you go. Great. Well, guys, thanks for tuning in. We will connect with you soon and have a great holiday season.
Yeah, go relax and kick the feet up a little bit. And who knows, maybe even grab a fiction book and get lost in a story and come back next year and hit it hard.
Good to see you, Michael. Maybe. Take it easy.
All right, take care. See ya.
This podcast is proudly powered by PaintScout, your partner in painting success.